And that's Team DLZ for the win. What's going on, guys? So I've got some updates from the dungeon for you about Chille DeCastro, but the first thing I want to do is make sure my freaking doggone sound is working. So give me a bunch of ones if you can hear me. Let's hear it. Ones if you can hear the big Team MPE from the Team DLZ squad. Let's hear it, guys. All right. What's up, Let's OTVO? Thanks for joining me today. Have a little bit of a short one. Been in depositions and mediations most of the day. Hey, Gloria, good seeing you. Super glad to have you, Mad Hatter. Hoorah, good seeing you. Chowder, Max, OTVO. Give me a bunch of OTVO guys. Overturned Terry versus Ohio. Had some opportunities to speak with Chille throughout the week. And so I've got a nice show for you today. I'm going to share some updates from him, the non-confidential stuff, of course. And I have finally some permission to share some of the less confidential stuff that we've been working on for stuff that he's doing in California. So it's been a real privilege to be able to visit him and in jail and be able to help him on out-of-state cases. And he just wanted me to tell everybody, thank you for writing him, sending him reading material. He's studying for the CLEP, which will make him eligible to study under me under the law study program if he passes the CLEP. And so that's a really powerful thing for him. Give him an opportunity to bury his nose in some law books and maybe even try a couple of cases with me as a certified law student. So we'll see how it goes. Now, let's take a look here and see what's going on with everybody. Hey, Brian and Steve. Love seeing all you guys here. So as you guys know, I am attorney Michael Ehline. I am a consumer attorney, which is the same thing as a personal injury lawyer. And what we do is we help people who have suffered catastrophic injuries. And prior to doing that, I did criminal defense and was an appellate lawyer. That's pretty much all I did, some real estate. And, but I really enjoy helping people when the government abuses their rights. And so that's one of the reasons why I have a lot of faith in Chille's mission of overturning Terry versus Ohio and trying to bring some kind of accountability into law enforcement. And, you know, I have a lot of friends, especially veterans, who have been beaten up and abused by bad cops. And I've represented a lot of people who have had tight handcuff cases. Some people who have actually had their hands amputated from what Chille calls torture cuffs, and they are torture. And that's the reality. And so one of the things that I try to do is, and I'll just make this really fast, is use real life examples of, you know, like maybe a police video or a ghost man, hoorah. Yeah. I'll try to use, you know, real life examples. Like, for example, we know in Texas that there's, you know, some pretty corrupt DAs targeting bikers, trying to take away their Second Amendment rights. They'll try to claim, well, you know, you're committing a felony because you're in a pack of outlaws and you have guns, and therefore that's racketeering. They'll come up with whatever they can. And so we know that the administrative state is going after people who support homesteading, homeschooling, unalienable rights to keep and bear arms. We know that the FBI was illegally spying. The March 24th report came out from Congress that they were using and mining our bank data to spy on people for shopping at Dick's Sporting Goods, or people trying to, you know, honor their Second Amendment rights, trying to defend their families, that kind of stuff. Those people are now being listed as potential domestic violent extremists by our administrative agency. So they're literally brainwashing a whole generation of administrative agents to literally target people who support the Constitution. And so that's one of the reasons why I do what I can to try and point things out and expose and bring transparency to the administrative state and these billion-dollar corporations and revolving door CIA, FBI agents going back and forth from Google and Facebook and basically writing policy and depriving you of your rights. And I think we need to expose that. I think we need to enforce Section 230 of the, I think it's the Communications Decency Act, as I recall. And by the way, I do some copyright and trademark law as well. Don't do patent law, but I used to interpret patents with my buddy Bill Slosky, who was a patent lawyer, and he had SEO by the sea, and he was one of the most genius search engine optimization guys I've ever met. And we used to interpret patents together, and it was super fun. And so I kind of get the idea of, what's going on with big tech. And of course, they want to dominate everything. And the best way to do that is to make sure that you have revolving door employment the same way pharma does with their agencies back and forth, so they can effectuate policy and censor people who don't go along with the program. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is on the list of things is Scarlett Johansson. Now, a lot of people don't understand what's going on, but so one of the projects that I'm working on with Chille has to do with people stealing the voices of famous people and celebrities. And my firm is actually seeing a little bit of success in this area. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to see a lot more. And there's this really great article. It's a CNN article called "Why OpenAI Should Fear Scarlett Johansson." Now, a lot of people will say, well, you can steal people's voices because it's a parody. Well, there's a little bit more to it than that, which some people are going to find out really quick. But a lot of people rely on the Larry Flynt, Jerry Falwell case that they teach you about in law school. But the bottom line is many legal experts are saying, I'm going to try to blow this up for you guys because I don't think you can see it that well. Scarlett Johansson, in this case, is going to be suing OpenAI for creating a voice assistant that sounds like her, right? And we've seen that a lot, right? You see, like, Morgan Freeman is a really big one that they're using. And it's basically what they're saying as far as with respect to OpenAI is there could be a potential copyright issue if they didn't get permission, but it goes a lot deeper than that. It goes into, because if you use someone else's voice, it wouldn't matter, right? But if it's deceptive and somebody can potentially profit from it, it's potentially a problem, even if it's a different person's voice. And then there's also publicity rights laws that you need to be aware of. And California really, really is tough about this stuff. And I actually worked on Keith Idema's case. I don't know if you guys remember him, but he's the guy that he accused the movie Peacemaker. I don't know if you remember that movie, but that was one of my clients. Keith Idema was this guy who claimed to be a Green Beret and all this stuff. And they made that movie about him, the one liberal guy who lives in, I forgot his name, Clooney, I think was the guy who played in that movie. And I guess it was about Russians smuggling radioactive material, and he stopped it. But so Keith was suing based upon that. It was really hilarious. And then if you guys do a YouTube about Keith Idema, you guys are going to crack up. So he ended up getting busted. He snuck into Afghanistan to go and try and find bin Laden. And man, I've got some great stories for you guys. But anyways, this guy was going after them for stealing his script. And that's kind of like what this is in a way. I mean, you're stealing someone's voice. And I get the argument that there could be parodies and stuff like that could be acceptable if it's not, confusingly similar and all that. But this is a developing area of law. So it's really exciting to see where this is going to go. But I think that parody is not going to be as easy to argue as a lot of people think. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about, because we didn't get a chance to really talk about this too much before, and I'll look over into the sidebar in a little bit because I want to share the Alan Beck situation with you. By the way, let's take a look here. Hey, Let's OTV, I'll make it bigger. Okay, I'll do that, buddy. Hold on. I'm always trying to follow instructions so all the happy people can see what's going on. So, all right, can you guys see that? This is going to be fun. We're gonna have some fun today. So Chille just basically wanted me to share with you that, you know, he's as good as you can be for being in a dungeon, and it is torture to be in a place like that, not being able to run your business or support your family or, you know, pursue transparency, which is what he's trying to do. And he just wanted me to let you guys know that, you know, take a look at his appellate brief, take a look at the Glick case, and don't listen to the naysayers. With respect to his appeal, you got to understand there's not a really huge body of law in Nevada. There traditionally people haven't tried to protest against government abuses with respect to the First Amendment. And that is primarily, in my view, because Nevada is a very law and order state, always has been, very small state, very conservative traditionally. And there really was no such thing as cop watching. People have always been historically terrified of police and wouldn't dare get near police with a camera. When I was growing up, and even in California, if you tried to film police officers, and we didn't have phones back then, so we had cameras, they would just take them and smash the phone, beat you up, and charge you with resisting, obstructing, delaying an officer in the performance of his duties under Penal Code Section 148. Very common, almost guaranteed, especially Orange County police. I mean, it was like guaranteed. So give me a bunch of ones if you guys experience that, like the people that are over 40 who remember not having cell phones and cell phone cameras and all that. Hey, Brick Jonesy, good seeing you, man. Digging it. By the way, yeah, so the Chille GoFundMe Legal Defense Fund, I need that link. And it looks like, and I'm gonna put it up on the screen in a minute, guys. I just have to get a hard link to be able to paste in there. But don't worry, before the show's out, I'll make sure the link goes live. But if you guys can just do me a big favor, all you got to do is go to Google and type in Chille GoFundMe Legal Defense Fund, and it'll pull up all the different GoFundMe accounts. And it doesn't really matter which one you give to, but with respect to what I'm trying to do is make sure we can find him a decent lawyer to help him with his municipal case that I believe we should be able to get dismissed if it was in California anyways. I just don't think that a filing deputy in California would have filed the crime scene tape case because Chille was directed into the crime scene area. There were other cops in the so-called crime scene area or the tape area. Actually, they were outside of the crime scene area. They were within the security of the gas station, which was not the crime scene. And Chille was directed by other cop, or at least one other cop, to go into that area. And his crime was simply filming and them asking him a bunch of questions and him not wanting to respond. And when he finally does, you know, he doesn't answer the way that they want him to. As he's trying to walk away and leave, they basically tackle the guy. That is a BS arrest. It should have never been filed. I've worked for the prosecutor's office. I have other friends who are still prosecutors. It's not how it works, guys. Give me a bunch of ones if you think, if this was in any other state, that crime scene tape case would have been what they call a DA reject. And again, I don't practice law in Nevada, but I have friends who are lawyers in Nevada and who work with our firm. And everybody who I showed that to does not believe that it's a beyond a reasonable doubt conviction. There's way too much dispute. And there is no underlying crime that he was resisting, that he could be accused of resisting, obstructing, delaying, or interfering with. There's nothing. There's no nexus that would allow those charges to stick in the real world. And so give me a bunch of ones if you think that they should free Chille for that one. And then, you know, I haven't really heard any updates about him from his detractors lately. So that's always a good sign. They must still be losing all the time. Now, one of the things that I wanted to point out to you is my good friend Alan Beck, and I believe he's one of the preeminent Second Amendment rights lawyers in the country. Certainly, I think he's the best on the West Coast. He has really, and you can see up on the screen here, and Alan also knows Chille, and Alan argues a lot of cases before the Ninth Circuit, and he works with my firm as well. And we've been working together for years, and we're mutual friends with Dick Heller. And so I was just at the gun show with Dick Heller a couple months back, and we were talking about all these cases that Alan Beck just keeps winning. He's like, winning, winning, winning. And so Alan Beck's licensed in California, in Hawaii, but he also pro hawks in cases all over the place. I was with him when he was doing a machine gun case at the Fifth Circuit years ago, like 2016, on behalf, I think it was a Marine vet. And he was with Dick Heller. And that's how I got to know Dick Heller, because what Dick does is he goes around and helps people, especially people like Alan, and they help each other fight for the Second Amendment. And so one of the things that Alan's doing, which is really, really cool, is he's not focused necessarily on AR-15s or bazookas or anything like that. He's talking about things like other bearable arms, because remember, the Second Amendment is about bearable arms. DC versus Heller. Take a look at it. There's several different ones. But look at the evolution and the progeny and where DC versus Heller comes from, and then the subsequent Heller versus DCs and the back and forth going all the way up to the Supreme Court. The whole focus is bearable arms. Okay, so it's not just about guns; it's bearable arms. But all the big money lawyers are only pursuing the gun cases, whereas Alan will work on these cases about, why can't I have a butterfly knife? Why can't I have a baton? Not everybody wants to carry a gun, right? I mean, I don't always want to have a gun with me. Sometimes maybe I just want to carry a K-bar or a knife or something that's more concealable. Maybe I don't want to have a gun for whatever reason, which I can't really think of any, but if you can think of one, put it in the comments. But the bottom line is that Alan has been having these major victories. And let me just give you a little backdrop on what's going on in Hawaii. So the very far left Hawaii Supreme Court, not to be confused with the U.S. Supreme Court or the federal courts, this is the Hawaii State Court. They decided that their way of honoring the Bruin case, which is, to look at the history and traditions of when the Second Amendment was brought into place, to see what gun bearable arm laws were like back then. And that's why we keep winning all the cases, is because, everybody had the right to keep and bear arms. And one of the reasons we fought the revolution is because the king was trying to seize the powder houses. Look it up. And so Hawaii has a distinct and unique history, because prior to them becoming one of the United States, they were basically a fiefdom of battling kings and related kings and brothers or whatever. But ultimately, I think either the last or the next to the last Kamehameha went ahead and passed a law to disarm all of his political opponents, to basically make sure that no one could ever resist his strength again. And I think this is before he finally was able to conquer or take Kauai. Remember, there's a big difference between Kauai and the other islanders. The Kauai is very independent. They're totally different than the other islanders, because they were not defeated by the king, at least not for a lot longer. So just look up the history sometime, guys. Most beautiful history in the world. The deal is the Supreme Court of Hawaii went ahead and said, we're going to go with the aloha spirit and honor the ancient Hawaiian laws under Kamehameha, where nobody could have arms or weapons, right? Of course, we know that was because he was trying to crush his political enemies, which is the reason why we have a Second Amendment. So if there ever was corrupt government or administrative agencies, the people would have the ability to resist. We always know in strong-arm countries, communist countries, socialist countries, one of the first things they do is to disarm the populace. And so the Hawaiian Supreme Court went along with that narrative that, well, since it's the aloha spirit, because this king that wanted to control everyone disarmed everyone. So that's the backdrop. So Hawaii wants to argue that because of aloha spirit, people shouldn't be armed. But under ancient Hawaiian law, and there's videos on my profile about this, prior to the king doing this, under ancient Hawaiian law, it was almost considered to be like a duty of every Hawaiian male to be armed and also to do no harm to women and children. It's like a tradition. Look it up. If you guys want me to do another video on that, I can do that later. So that's that. All right. So let's go. All right, Brick. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on. So Alan Beck goes ahead and wins again, and he won big because now people can carry banned weapons. And you see this guy here, that's called a halberd. Do you know what that is, guys? Give me a bunch of ones if you know what a halberd is. You ever heard of the Pope? He's got those Swiss guards. Does that look kind of familiar? Just watch this. This is going to make you laugh. This is so freaking cool. This is Hawaii, by the way, Waikiki. Okay, check it out.
As of Monday, it is no longer illegal in Hawaii to carry a dangerous weapon in public, and switchblade and butterfly knives are no longer banned. Daryl Huff explains why that change led to an alarming sight in Waikiki at sunset on Tuesday.
The governor signed HB 2342 into law Monday without fanfare, making it immediately legal to openly carry weapons that were banned in public until now. One gun rights activist decided to celebrate in a very visual way.
I'm down here in Waikiki with some really great news.
To make his point, Andrew Namiki Roberts brandished medieval weapons in a public park.
So I can be down here with my halberd, walk around with it, and not break the law. I also have an 18-inch Viking axe, perfectly legal. The other thing that's now legal is switchblades and butterfly knives. You can own, possess, and carry them as long as it's done openly.
You can now open carry
There's Alan.
any dangerous and deadly weapon, and the law now only prohibits the concealed carry of those weapons.
It's 6 foot tall. It's basically a spear, axe, hook all at once. It scares the bejeebus out of me. It really, really, really does. But it's perfectly legal for me to carry as long as I do so safely.
It's a serious crime, both before and after this bill, to carry a weapon in a manner that threatens or terrorizes others.
In hearings on the bill, the Attorney General said the change was to modernize and align Hawaii's concealed weapons laws with other places and court rulings. But to some, it didn't make sense to legalize knives that would be only carried in public.
This is concealed. So that's a felony now. This is unconcealed. You know, if I'm running on the street with a butterfly knife in my hands, does that make it any better than if I just got it slipped in my pocket?
The new law also says people who legally carry concealed firearms will face felony charges if they commit even a minor crime, like driving without a license.
If they are validly in possession of a firearm, but they're driving without a valid driver's license as a misdemeanor, then they also could face a Class C felony.
For decades, again, it's been a felony under state law to possess a firearm while committing a crime.
Well, anyways, you guys get the idea. So that's a little fun from Alan. And he's winning again. He was able to get this law passed to where people can now carry knives and stuff in public and not have to worry about it. So come and get me, coppers. Yeah, exactly. This is great. Yeah, let's hit the target. Yeah, let me really quick, guys. I'm gonna disappear for a minute. I'm gonna just talk to you while I'm not on the screen, and I'm gonna pull up the big Chille Meister fundraiser link so I can put it up on the screen for you. All right, guys, here we go. So take a look here in the sidebar. I'm putting this link up, and then I'm also going to put it in the description. Hopefully you guys can take a look. There it goes. So make sure that you try to donate some money for Chille so we can try to help him get a decent lawyer for this next case. And that right now, it looks like he's raised about 26 grand. The goal is 35, so he's a little off. By the way, give me a bunch of ones. If you miss him, it looks like he'll be out in about, I guess, 6 weeks. Does anybody know for sure what the timeline's looking like for when he's getting out of there? Just let me know if you know. If you know. So there's that. So now, other than that, I'm just here to, I'll try to answer any questions for any of the audience, and then I have to get back to work. This is kind of a short live stream for us today. And as far as court dates, I'm not sure about what his court dates are. I don't represent him in any out-of-state stuff. Yeah, that's a great idea. We should probably, so Let's OTVO says we should try to plan a get-together event. So I think that's a great idea. I'm okay with that if you guys want to do that. Now, does anybody have any questions about like any legal issues or anything like that? One of the things that I wanted to sort of go over with you is, you know, typically, again, in a case like Chille's, there's not a lot of Nevada law that's on point that really covers vague and ambiguous statutes that allow police to have unparalleled authority to be able to make arrests. And how does that work when they don't want to be filmed and they can use these arrest statutes as a pretextual reason? So that's what you kind of want to look at. You know, are they using pretextual reasoning to do that? And I think that he's got some pretty solid arguments. And a lot of the cases that he's citing are, unfortunately, they're out of state. They're persuasive authority. They're not going to be 100% mandatory authority type cases because of the fact there's not a strong body of law. But the cases that he has cited, like Glick and those other cases, I think that they're pretty solid. And it could potentially lead to a stronger body of law that protects people who are trying to hold their government accountable and who are fighting for transparency. And I think that we should all be fighting for transparency. And give me a bunch of ones if you agree on that we should be fighting for transparency in government. I think it's super, super important, especially because they have so much power and control. I mean, like Child Protective Services could just come and take your kids from you. You know, if there were corrupt people working for that agency, they could come up with a pretextual reason to do it. So we definitely need to think about that before we just like bow down and bend over, as they say. Yeah, I love all the ones. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Unisex. We are free audits. Hey, that's cool. Now, did you guys all see Chille's link? I just want to make sure that you all go ahead and click on his GoFundMe link. And if you can help him do it, you know, normally, you know, he would be running his channel and he would be, you know, selling his pullovers and doing stuff like that to try to survive. And now he's not able to do that. So naturally his business will suffer. And that's another reason why we need prison reform, is because, you know, people who need to support themselves and whatnot, who are engaged in nonviolent crimes or even political type offenses, they certainly don't deserve to be locked up and lose their livelihood. It's certainly not fair to throw the book at them, that's for sure. Okay, so yeah, so well, hopefully you guys like this the story about Alan and how he's killing it out there with the concealed knives and the ability to open carry a halberd and all that stuff. That was so cool seeing a Swiss guard, or a Swiss sounding guy anyways, out there carrying one. Hopefully you guys liked it and thought it was great. And I'm just looking in the sidebar to see if there's any other questions that I can answer before I nod off for the evening. Hey, here's the deal. Yeah. Too bad you're not on with me tonight, buddy. But some other time, I guess. When exposing government crime is treated as crime, we can know we're being ruled by criminals. Well, that's for sure. And, you know, when you have so many laws and they become so voluminous, you know, you're no longer living in a free land. And that's why I always say that we should always be trying to hire, or in this case, elect representatives who want to delete laws, not pass more laws. So give me a bunch of ones if you think we should delete laws and not have more laws. And let me see here. Yeah. Wasn't mad at you. I love seeing all those ones. What's going on? Wasn't mad at you. Good seeing you, Henry. So basically, the bottom line is I think that you guys should all take a look at the fact that there's not a whole big body of law directly related to auditing or trying to hold government accountable. We see people going into the post office trying to film, and we see poster 7 where it says you can be there for journalistic related reasons, as I recall. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yet we see constantly local law enforcement with no enforcement or jurisdictional agreements going in there and arresting people on federal property under local codes. And somehow those crimes are sticking when there's clearly some kind of a jurisdictional problem there. So there's a lot of stuff going on that shouldn't be happening, and we need to hold the government accountable. And that's why I come on here to try to help people out, help people understand the law and understand the nuances. So hopefully you're enjoying my time here. Hey, what's going on, BZ? Yeah. Hopefully you are enjoying your time with me until the great leader returns and starts getting down again, because I know that his live streams are awesome. The guy has a great personality. So yeah, Mike Ward, OTVO. So if there's not any other questions, guys, I think I'm going to nod out tonight. Thanks, Donald. Appreciate that. And I've got some videos on my channel that talk about felony that Alan Beck and I did, the guy who did this law in Hawaii, that I did on my channel, where we cover nonviolent felonies potentially no longer restricting your right to keep and bear firearms and other types of bearable arms. So I think that that's a win for families. You know, too long the administrative state has used laws to try and deprive people of their unalienable rights, and it's about time we had a win for people who have already served their time in hell and who are still being punished to this day, who can't even properly defend themselves. It's really sad, I think. But and Derek, I don't know how we actually get it overturned other than to do what Chille suggests, which is he wants to run for governor and then use that executive power to make change as a governor and then try to make that spread across the nation. And I think that that is a pretty valid argument, to be honest. But of course, he says it in a way that's much more impressive than the way I would say it. You know, he's just got that personality. So, yeah. And yeah, here's the deal. That would be like, let me think, having Darth Vader be the referee for one of his stormtroopers, right? Let's get real, guys. All right, so let me just try to clear everything here. Yeah, I would too. So Jose says I would vote for Chille for governor. Yeah, I would too. I'd vote for him. Why not? I mean, look at the people look at like guys like Newsom, man. I mean, give me a break. Yeah. Yeah, not sure, Jim. I didn't discuss any of that. Wouldn't know. But yeah, so that's kind of like the the last couple of days in review for Chille. I have a lot of stuff I got to work on, guys, so I can't really spend a whole lot of time today, but I really appreciate you taking some time to hear what I got to say, and make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you, Marcus. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And Mama Lion says that they have DeSantis. Well, at least parents have somebody protecting their kids. That's always a good thing. Yeah, Jim, good seeing you, dude. Hey, Marcus, good seeing you too, bro. Yeah, 140 likes and subscribes buttons. So anyways, guys, yeah, it was really nice to see you, and hopefully Mike Ward's right and we can take back this great nation of ours. And other than that, hide the railroads pocket watch. Let's OTVO. All right, Marcus. So Marcus, I'm going to go ahead and launch out of this thing and make this happen. So hopefully we'll see you in a couple days. I'm working on some stuff. I got my book done about how I was able to become a lawyer on the California State Bar Law Office Study Program with no undergrad or law degree. And I want you guys to check it out. And then I also am going to be working on a program where I teach people the first year law courses. So like contracts, torts, and criminal law. Just in case you want to get on the law study program, you'll have a one-up on other entrants. It's just a layering it on process. You just it's a problem solving speed exam. So hopefully I can teach some of you guys who are interested. And I intend on getting teaching Chille as well. So that'll be fun. And let's see here. I think that's pretty much it. You know what, Marcus? That's what I need help with. So I got the book done, but I don't know how to set it up. I was trying to put it on one of those sites where you list it for sale, but I just couldn't figure out how to do it. I'm not technical enough. So if anybody knows how to do that, I'm just looking to like set it up to where it can get like set up with like a PayPal thing and, do it that way. It's pretty good. I also have stuff in there that talks about other states that have similar programs and how to get your basic educational requirements, save yourself a couple $100,000 in the process, but and just have a good time. Do it the old fashioned way, externing, clerking for a judge or lawyer, that kind of thing. So anyways, let's take a look, see here. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to close it out, guys. I guess I will talk to you soon. So make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to go to Chille's GoFundMe link, please, and help out a little bit if you can, because he has not been able to earn a living. I mean, I'm sure this channel is not exactly, going into outer space because he is the personality that drives it. We all know that I'm not even close. So let's make it happen, guys. I will talk to you soon. Hey, look at that. Let's OTVO got a membership for 4 months. That's super cool. That is really great. Thanks, Marcus. Yeah, it is really good. It took me a while to write it. I included some cool pictures too in there. Right now it's only in digital, and I've got somebody who's trying to help me print it into like a book, like a hardcover, like a limited edition. So that'll be fun too. Hey, Mama Lion, good seeing you. Now, I will, somebody's saying R&R News is saying Nevada allows citizen grand juries. I'll be waiting for that one from you. Look, I can ask, I've got a couple of my buddies who are Nevada lawyers. One of them does crim defense. I'll ask him about that. I mean, who knows, man? I'm always interested. I never profess to know everything. What I try to do is teach you guys general legal principles. And then what you can do is you can apply those principles to different statutes and codes in your state and try to find ones that are close enough to where you understand how everything ties together. Sometimes you'll find stuff that's basically the same. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's totally done away with. But you can always find it helps you think like a lawyer. That's what you want to be able to do, especially the people who are involved in accountability operations, as I call them. If you're involved in accountability operations, you need to definitely understand how to interact with law enforcement and stuff like that. It's a really big deal. Anyways, with that being said, I am going to go, Helen Sloss. With that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because you never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. Semper Fi, do or die.